This is Dos
A
Pequeños.
funnier look at the paranormal in New Mexico, the world, and beyond.
I'm your co-ghost, Alex.
And I'm Eric. What's up, Alex?
Hey, Eric.
I think we would be lying if we said we were doing great because we have to re-record this episode today, which is super annoying. But here's the story, and it's a good story, I think. We had a windfall of tens of dollars.
But it was awesome. Like, Patreon really came through. And long story short, we got a lot of cool equipment.
Yeah, we invested the money from Patreon into some new equipment. We got these awesome cameras.
Yeah.
So if you're hearing some buzzing, hopefully we can get rid of this. But our air conditioner at the studio broke and my landlord has to fix it. And he's not in a hurry to do that. So we have a little fan here to help keep us from dying.
Yeah. It's like swamp style feeling.
Swampville.
Swamp ass.
But we want to thank our patrons and our coffee supporters for helping us get some new equipment.
Yeah.
What happened was we don't know how to use it because it's like really cool and really fancy. And
half of it.
Yeah, we
got one half of it working.
We got the camera working.
We got the cameras working.
And we're going to have these cool wireless mics. They're somewhere over there. We'll have those working soon once we figure that out. But so now we have to re-record this, and that's why we didn't have a second episode in April. So I'm sorry to you, but thank you, patrons.
It was Eric's fault.
It was my fault. Actually, I think it was both of our faults.
It was both of our. Here's the thing. You use brand new equipment. There's going to be some bugs in it. We're going to figure it out. So we went back to Old Faithfuls here. Yeah. Our Old Faithfuls, his gigantic mic. Yeah. And mine. And that's also due to Patreon people. So shout out to the Patreon peoples, man. We need to look too and see if there's any new ones.
Well, and you guys keep the lights on, honestly, like these lights, not the AC, because not the AC, but the lights are on, and you keep us investing in equipment. So if you want to support the show and you want to help us keep investing in it and you want it to keep getting better.
Ooh, because we have more ideas.
We have a lot of ideas. You can go to patreon.com/dospequeños or ko-fi.com/dospequeños, DOSPOOKQUENOS.
Good job.
And that's also in my mind. I don't know. It's weird.
It's just imprinted.
Yeah, it's there. So that's also our social handles. So if you want to go on Twitter, Instagram, we're most active on Instagram. Facebook just gets posts because it comes from Instagram. All right, you ready?
Let's go.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you to guess what we're doing because we already did that and you already know what it is. So
I might have forgotten, and then we both forgot, and then we reminded ourselves.
Yeah. So we're just going to skip that part today because Alex is not going to be surprised by this, but we're going to go through it. Here we go. I'm excited to tell you something that we haven't really delved into except for the last time that we did. But before we go any further, no, you don't have any guesses, so never mind.
I have no idea.
Actually, why don't you guess and guess the right answer?
I feel like, is it haunted stuff?
Yes.
Okay, so it's ghosts, haunted in New Mexico?
Everywhere.
Something that's everywhere. Waffle House.
Oh my God, we should do an episode on Haunted Waffle House.
Haunted Waffle House. That's a short story or something.
Maybe that's the name of this episode. We always asked our listeners in the past. We've stopped asking them because they didn't send us anything. But if any of our listeners are writers and you want to be a Spooky Sheet contributor.
Oh, yeah.
You could totally write a ghost story for us to read on the air or on the episode. And we would reimburse you by giving you stickers maybe. Yeah.
Or just reading your story.
Well, we definitely read your story, but we could probably send you some stickers and give you a shout out on the episode. If you want to send your spooky stories, or if you know of a spooky story that we haven't read yet that you want us to read, send it our way to spookenyos@gmail.com. All right. So today we are discussing haunted and cursed highways.
Yes. Did I ever guess?
No.
Fuck.
Highway to the ghost zone. Spooky zone.
Yeah, spooky zone.
I like it. Spooky zone. That's what we're going to say. Highway to the spooky zone. I think this is pretty fascinating because it's like the Skinwalkers episode and the La Mala Hora where you're just like driving by yourself at night. You don't know where you are. And boom, ghost time or shit gets all fucking Final Destination on you. I think about this all the time when I'm traveling in the middle of nowhere at night.
For sure.
I'm convinced that
I do that during the day when I'm traveling. I'm always looking at things that'll kill me.
Yeah. This is something that I think about, like I said, often when I'm driving around, but I've never had any kind of haunted experience on the road. Have you?
No, I don't believe in ghosts.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I think everything that's been weird when I've driven has been like attributed to something else. I do have one experience Okay. When I was driving in Colorado, it was late at night. I don't think it was a ghost, though.
What happened?
Okay. I was driving in Colorado late at night, and I was pulling up into like my parents' house or something. And I was driving, and I was seeing like this bright light in the sky. And I was like, oh, that must be like a helicopter or something. And as I pulled into my parents' driveway, the light had gotten really bright and big and closer. And that kind of confused me because I could tell it wasn't like a spotlight. It was just basically like a giant light. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. And it had gotten bigger and bigger. And it was like 2:30 or 3:30 in the morning or something. And it made zero sound. And I stood there and watched it for a little while. And I got to the point where I was like, holy shit, I need someone else to see this. And it wasn't because we didn't have cell phones and shit back then. I didn't walk around with a camera.
Right.
And all it would have been was like a big fucking light in the sky anyway. But I went into my mom's and I was like, you need to come see this. And she's, fuck you, why are you waking me up? And I was like, oh, come on. And I took her outside and it was gone. It was like no trace of it at all. And I was like, wow, sorry, go back to bed.
That could have been extraterrestrial.
Sure. I don't know what it was.
That's a really good way to start this episode. Thank you for the story, Al. Let's jump right in. So before we talk about specific roads, I wanted to look at some historical cases of haunted or cursed roads because I thought it would be interesting to say something like this phenomenon has been occurring and recorded since the Roman days or whatever. But I didn't find anything.
Haunted Roman roads, because that's who they made them up first, no? They were the Romans?
Yeah, like actual...
like paved roads.
Yeah.
But let's just keep it in the U.S. for today. Or maybe not.
No, we're going all over the place.
Oh, we're going all over the world.
Yeah.
See, I don't remember any of the stories, so I'm glad you're going to rehash these up with me.
I did see there's one story where they talk about in the UK, they see Roman soldier ghosts, which is cool. Yeah.
That'd be so funny to see.
I didn't find anything other than that one story. So instead, I'm going to start with a cursed highway in our very own backyard. Do you know which one I'm going to talk about, Alex?
I would say if it's our own highway, it has to be 66. No, I remember which one it is. 666.
Yes, that's correct. There used to be
Satan's highway.
There used to be a highway in New Mexico that was Highway 666.
Correct.
It has since been changed. It is now called Highway 491. And it connects Gallup, New Mexico to Salt Lake City. So if you drive from Gallup on Highway 491 and you just keep going, you'll eventually hit Salt Lake. A loop that connects all the national parks west of the Mississippi. So if you just stay on that road, you'll just hit every national park that's west of the Mississippi.
Huh, right on.
Which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
Okay.
I remember I had a story about that. That's right. I actually remember my story now.
Yeah. So the reason it was called 666 is not really that interesting. Basically, people got pissed off that Highway 60 was not transcontinental and bitched about it so much that the government was like, fine, you can have Route 66 as transcontinental, and that birthed Route 66. But what this meant was any roads that would shoot off of Highway 66 had to end in a 6.
Got you.
So Highway 66 now became Highway 666.
That makes sense. Right?
Yeah. What happened there? It became the Devil's Highway.
It's Satan's stretch of road.
Now, the highway itself has a range in altitude from 2,900 feet above sea level to 11,000 feet above sea level.
Damn.
And as you can imagine, calling the highway 666 caused a lot of drama. The religious people were like super pissed off that they had to drive on the Devil's Highway. And of course, rumors and conjecture about the highway being cursed started to fly.
Of course.
Now, there were claims that Highway 666 was more deadly than any of the other highways because of its name.
Because of the name, not because of anything else.
No.
Because of drunk driving.
Not the 8,000, 9,000 foot change in elevation or the winding roads.
People falling asleep.
The reality, like I said, is it is a dangerous stretch of highway.
Sure.
Because of the elevation, because of the twists and turns, because it goes through the mountains and there's probably snow. Usually there's snow.
Mountains usually equal, so
especially in New Mexico, which makes it a prime spot for car wrecks. There were also issues of the highway not being maintained, and a lack of any four-way stops at busy intersections, which made it very unsafe. Like I said, it wasn't very safe because of the fact that there was no four-way stops and it wasn't maintained. And then after the renaming, it was improved with stoplights, better markings, guardrails.
Oh, now they cared.
And the accident stopped or slowed down. But of course, people believe that this is solely due to the name change.
See, that's whatever I was saying that was asinine before.
This is asinine.
This is asinine.
And this is a perfect example of somebody thinking that correlation equals causation.
Right, exactly. That's a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm. And it does not, people.
It's just a number.
It's just, yeah.
I'm curious to know when that number was started being seen as evil. Upside down crosses wasn't a thing until the 60s.
Yeah.
In 1960s. Maybe even the 70s, but I feel like it was the 60s.
It was The Exorcist.
Maybe, yeah. But that wasn't even a thing. But everyone thinks it's been like, oh, that must be a sign. Shit, that was done for a fucking movie or something.
666 is in the Bible.
Okay,
it's in
right.
Revelation. The mark of the beast.
The mark of the beast.
Yeah.
It would be upon something.
And you're supposed to have it on your right hand.
Yeah.
Instead of cash. Which they are talking about implanting chips into your hand so you can pay for things.
Boop. Jesus.
Mark of the beast. Okay, anyway, my preacher kid background is showing.
They're going to put microchips under your skin.
That's how they get you.
Next thing you know.
If it was just accidents alone, I probably wouldn't even be talking about this highway because that would be stupid. But there are reports of paranormal or unexplained things happening on Highway 666 or Highway 491 as it's now called. One common report is that after dark, people sometimes see headlights coming up fast in their rearview mirror.
Real fast.
The car would come up so fast that many people would pull over to avoid getting rear-ended, only to find that there was no car and no headlights.
Okay.
Could it be the devil rushing to an appointment?
It was.
Maybe he had a haircut and he was going to be late? Yeah. Colonoscopy? Yeah, I don't know.
Colonoscopy. It's the devil.
Right.
Who would need something terrible to happening, or I would think.
Like a root canal.
Root canal, all of his teeth, though.
Yeah.
At the same time.
There are also reports of hellhounds running around and causing havoc.
Feral dogs.
The reports claim, or skinwalkers.
Or, obviously, skinwalkers.
Right, clearly. The reports claim that there are supernaturally fast dogs that will run after a vehicle no matter how fast it is going and keep up with the car, which is what we've heard in the Skinwalker episode.
That's true. Dogs are pretty fast. I don't know.
Not 70 miles an hour.
Yeah. Fuck, that fast?
That's how fast the highway is.
Yeah, you're right. Damn.
Yeah. This is just people saying things that doesn't mean anything necessarily unless there's like video or something.
I wouldn't believe that either.
No, you'd be like, it's doctored.
Yeah, it's fake. Fucking fake.
And it's important to know that this highway does go right through the Navajo Nation. So if skinwalkers are real,
that would be
there. Yeah. There are even claims that these dogs or whatever they are have shredded car tires with their teeth and even jumped into car windows, mauled passengers and drivers to death, and then bounced.
Bye. And then just jumps out the window. Bitch, I'm out.
And then there are reports of skinwalker activity as well. And I just wonder if it's not just two different types of the same kind of phenomena happening, or two different types of people describing the same thing in a different way. Right. So you have like people from New Mexico who know what the fuck skinwalkers are, and then somebody driving through from Idaho who probably doesn't know.
No, exactly.
There's a haunted semi-truck, according to reports made by people driving on Highway 666.
Okay.
The truck will nearly hit drivers going on the highway. There are also tales of a not-so-evil...
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, semi-drivers are scary, man.
Already.
That was a scary fucking movie. What was that shit called? Do you remember? Joyride. Yeah. And Paul Walker was like pretending to be the girl, and the guy didn't take lightly to that and like chased him the entire fucking movie.
It's scary.
That's scary stuff. Yeah.
Scary. There's also tales of a not-so-evil spirit. It's said that a young girl stands on the side of the road in a white gown. She's described as sad. But if anyone approaches her, she disappears. She's really shy. The last documented phenomenon of Highway 491 or 666 is the loss of time and disappearances. There are people who claim to have disappeared and reappeared days or weeks later. And then there are also stories of people getting to their destination to find that they are hours later than they expected to be, having no recollection of that much time passing.
Disassociation.
Right. Or marijuana.
Have you ever driven on a road on a long road trip? And I've driven on that road. And it is a dull drive. It is not much to see. And we were driving on it at night. I could see people like losing track of time very easily. I don't understand the whole disappearing and reappearing part of it, but I'm glad they reappear.
Yeah, but it's hard to even know because, like I said, it's just people saying things. It's not even...
Yeah.
There's no evidence of any of this.
You can say anything.
Yeah, totally.
You can say anything happened. You have a voice. You know how to use words.
There's a lot of people who aren't credible.
Yeah. Oh, and you usually can tell fairly. I hate just like being that guy though, too, at the same time. Why can't there just be more credible people?
Why can't we have
more
proof?
Real things
Some
and
proof.
evidence and actual fucking proof? Why don't we have anything yet? You and I both know what it's like driving long stretches of road late at night and what that does to your mind. And especially if you're by yourself, if you're like by yourself in your car driving in the middle of the desert, it can play with your brain a little bit. For sure.
Absolutely. So looking at the statistics, there were a high number of accidents and fatalities on the highway, but it seems that most of it can be chalked up to terrain, weather, and poor conditions of the highway.
Yeah.
Accidents did drop after the renaming, but like I said, the highway was redone and modernized, so it's hard to say if it was the name change or the improvements.
So when I drove on it, we were kids, and actually I was just in the front seat. I didn't even drive. I was a passenger. And I remember at one point we lost the road. Talking about how poorly maintenance it was. It was just like covered in dirt. And you'd only see little snippets of it at a time. And so like really in watching other people's tracks were like how we got through that basically. And then we almost hit a fucking cow. And like it was really late at night and my buddy was just zoning out and almost hit a cow like an inch away from that little guy. I could see his eyeball like.
He's like, oh shit, I'm about to die. Okay, we're going to get out of New Mexico for a little bit because it's fucking hot.
Yes.
Check out some other haunted highways. So let's go to Illinois.
Are we driving there?
All right, so we're going to Illinois, to Boone County to be exact. There's a 2.8 mile stretch of road called Bloods Point Road.
Bloods Point?
Bloods Point Road.
That sounds scary.
This is considered one of the most haunted roads in the world. The road runs east to west from Pearl Street to Cherry Valley Road. It is paved, but it is a rural stretch of road. And there's an urban legend which I have not been able to authenticate. Apparently, there is a bridge that goes over the road, and the legend is that in the 50s or 60s, who knows, a school bus fell from the bridge and killed all of the passengers on the bus.
That's sad.
People believe that if you put your car in neutral on the bridge, it will get pushed off the bridge by an invisible force. And if you happen to put baby powder on your bumper, because that's a thing.
You mean your butt?
Because that's the thing that people do. I do mean my butt.
You call your butt your bumper.
Totally. You will see tiny handprints from kids pushing the car off the bridge. There is no record of any bus crash in history.
I've heard about this before.
I've heard about this on other roads too.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially with the whole baby powder thing. And I think that's been debunked because like even if you wipe down your car, your hands still leave like oil prints on it. And so when you put that dry powder on there, it is attracted to that oil. And so slipping off, it sticks to that oil. And so that's the handprints they see. Yeah, I've heard of it. You might talk about this one place where it seems like the car should be going uphill over the railroad tracks. And you do that and you put it on the back of the bumper, of course. Put it in neutral, and the car will start rolling uphill and then up over the tracks onto the other side. And they actually debunked that. They're like, oh, this is crazy. They went there and they tried it out. It was some show.
Yeah.
On Sci-Fi.
Mythbusters or something?
No, it was like something more spooky stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, let us know down in the comments.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Share, subscribe.
Hit that bell for notifications.
Daily.
What's up, YouTube? The local wood shop teacher from the high school had an experience on the road as he was driving.
One-armed Jimmy?
As he was driving with a friend.
He had a fucking eye patch and a wooden arm that he carved himself because he cut it off.
All right, so he had an experience driving on the road with a friend. They heard the sound of metal being dragged on the road behind them. Suddenly,
it was the muffler.
A giant dog head was in the driver's side window, growling and barking. The teacher claims that he was driving at 40 miles per hour, and the dog was easily able to keep up with the car. Aside from the giant head, the beast was also said to have red eyes, and then it vanished as soon as it appeared.
I guess that's good. Hey, it's gone. Cool. That wasn't that bad.
It's like,
it's gone.
Oh, okay.
So that's what could I be attributed to? I like the story. I want those things to happen to me. God damn it. Mm-hmm. I want to be driving 70 miles per hour and see some dog trying to keep up with me with red eyes, trying to gnaw my face off. Yeah, and then be like, whoa.
There are also rumors of a ghost truck that chases unlikely drivers and then vanishes. The truck is said to be big and black and aggressive, and then it disappears without a trace.
Poof.
Another rumor has spread about spooky violin music being heard on the highway. That would be great, but there is a family that lives on the highway, and they play together in a string quartet, and they practice together at night outside on their porch.
With spooky masks on.
Their house is right out the road, so it's not that unusual to hear violin music coming from there.
Okay.
Skeptics believe that the name of the road has led to the focus on the legends and the creation of the myths related to the road. The name came from a man named Arthur Blood.
Arthur Blood.
And there are also rumors that his family was working with a witch, and that's why the road is haunted. The thing is, nothing that has been said about the road has been proven, and it all seems like hearsay. The locals are all super annoyed, though, because people keep coming back to the road trying to get a glimpse of the hellhound or some other ghostly activity, and they're fucking vandalizing everything.
What do you mean by vandalizing?
Like spray painting shit, putting trash everywhere.
Great.
Yeah, people are assholes.
Yeah.
A couple more haunted roads before we get into some creepypasta. Come with me, sir.
Come.
To Hong Kong. We're going to Tuen Mun Road, which is 12.1 miles long. The entire thing is paved. There is an urban legend that claims that anyone who dies on this road is cursed to haunt it forever. Ghosts are said to have appeared in heavy traffic, causing cars to lose control and drive off the road. Allegedly, the ghost of a crash scene will show up at times and cause other cars to wreck just because they're trying to avoid a wreck that
like the car
really
even?
It's like a whole crash scene. Like 2 cars, smoke.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. So,
God, how terrifying would that be? You don't have time to slam on your brakes. You just drive through it.
Yeah. And then you swerve off the road. So the road is dangerous. There have been a lot of accidents, but it's super busy too. Maybe that's why there's a lot of crashes, because there's a lot of cars.
That's a good point.
Skeptics believe that the crashes are a result of the geography of the area, the poor design, and the lack of upkeep on the road. Oh, and the congestion. It's probably ghosts.
I would say it is.
99% sure.
I mean, have you driven it?
I have not. In 2003, a bus crashed and killed 21 people.
Happens. That sucks.
If we believe that ghosts are a result of trauma and death,
that would be
a death trap highway would be a probable place to find some ghosts.
Wouldn't that be cool? Like a bus of ghosts? Like ghost trains, right?
Okay, we're leaving Hong Kong and we're going back to the U.S., and I'm taking you to Wisconsin, Alex.
Let's go.
Hopefully it's cooler than here. Boy Scout Lane in Wisconsin is allegedly haunted because of a tragic incident that happened, guess when? In the 50s or 60s.
Weird. That never happened in the 50s or 60s.
Apparently, some scouts went on a camping trip and the whole troop was killed.
By what?
Some say it was a murderer. Others claim it was a wild animal.
Maybe a hellhound?
Maybe a hellhound. Some blame the scout leader. Others blame the bus driver. And
not the creepy scout leader or bus driver.
But still, I couldn't find anything to corroborate that any of this ever happened.
See, I mean, isn't that the shit right there? Like, you always hear about these stories like, 21 kids were killed in a school bus accident that flew off the mountain into a gorge and exploded below.
Right.
It haunts this highway, Eric.
Forever.
And that never fucking happens.
No.
It's just people being creative, thinking, maybe.
Something.
Fiction?
Something, yeah.
Here.
Because all these kids were killed here on this road, it is said to be very haunted. People claim to have weird feelings or feeling like they're being watched. There are reports of child handprints on cars, again, and others claim to hear children laughing. The road itself is unpaved in a rural wooded area near a river. The lane is less than a mile long. And that's that. One more road. M6 in England is said to have Roman soldiers. That's the one I alluded to earlier, wandering around.
The side of the road or in the road?
Just all over.
That's so cool. And also terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I would probably freak out.
Probably, do you think it scares the ghost? Oh my God.
Whoa.
What are these things flying at me?
What is this?
Yeah.
It's one of the busiest highways. It's 6 lanes wide, and it is considered to be the most haunted road in England. It runs south and north between Rugby and eastern Warwickshire.
It's like Roman Frogger for those ghosts.
Right. Part of the motorway is known as the backbone.
Did I just age myself?
I'm
sorry.
Is known as the backbone of Britain.
The M6, isn't it?
In it. I also wrote soilgers instead of soldiers. Soilgers.
Let's hear it for those soilgers out there. I support the soilgers.
Bringing all the soil.
That's fantastic. Blooper reels. God, this is going to have so many things for patrons.
I know. Here's the last one for the day. Riverview Drive in Tatoa, New Jersey is also known as Annie's Road. There are so many accounts of strange things happening on Annie's Road. There have been supposed ghost sightings on this road since the early colonial times.
Oh, damn.
There's a tale about a bride who was murdered on the road. She shows up in the spirit form to fuck with townies, because that's what they do.
Just ghosts.
The legend claims that a couple was driving down the road in the 60s, weird, and arguing. The man got so pissed off that he tossed that bitch out of the passenger side door. She started walking and eventually was hit by a truck. Annie, the bride, is said to be looking for revenge. So watch out, man, because she's going to get you.
Get that bugger.
She going to get you.
And it doesn't matter who. She just wants revenge on anybody, basically.
Any man. Yeah.
Any man. You look like Bill. And we'll hit you.
If you see her
as you drive by.
If you see her on the side of the road, do not stop for her. People claim to hear a woman screaming, which could just be Jersey. But also...
It's Jersey. Sorry, Jersey folk. You guys are cool.
Listen, I have been in Jersey, and I like Jersey.
See?
But people yell.
Do they yell a lot?
In Jersey.
Yeah.
They're just loud.
Yeah. We're different.
I love my Jersey people, though.
We're a little different here. We're more quiet. No?
I think we're more of a dirty look place.
Just give everyone a dirty look.
Just giving everyone a dirty look.
Yeah.
Like, pretty much everyone's scowling at everyone.
Good morning. Morning.
Okay, but also fog appears suddenly, which messes with visibility and then disappears quickly.
As fog does.
Right. People also claim that their phones, cameras, and electrical equipment does not work in the area. And they reported...
Or in the studio.
And people have reported seeing the bride on the side of the road trying to hitchhike. All right.
That's cool. I have seen some videos of people driving and there's some scary lady standing on the side of the road while they drive by. That would definitely get your attention. It could be someone having a mental health break and just crisis and like just walking on the side of the road, maybe got lost, who knows, or it could be a ghost.
Totally. This is from Reddit user, It's Okay, Everything is Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate you reassuring me and telling me that affirmation because sometimes you wonder.
It's okay. And everything is okay. All right. So
I need to have a Reddit name just so I can make some fucking funny ass shit up.
I just feel like we've had some good ones on here.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we've had some great names.
I saw a ghost car and found out that there was an accident there recently. This happened today and I'm still in shock. So tonight, I did a 2-hour drive to go back home and it was nighttime.
Oh, fuck.
I was getting out of the mountains, which is followed by desert and not an exit for miles ahead. There's only 2 lanes on this part of the highway. I was driving on the right when all of a sudden, I see headlights coming towards me pretty fast. I couldn't see what kind of car it was, but I drive an SUV and these lights were low, So I knew it was a car. Just so you know.
A lowrider.
I look in both mirrors to watch the car. It was just us two cars here. Then I physically turn my head to see the car. I see it in my blind spot now. I turn my head back to the road where I'm admiring the bright full moon when all of a sudden, the spot where the car's headlights were supposed to be goes pitch black. I look back and didn't see a car. Mind you, there was no exit nearby.
No! None at all!
That was all caps.
Yeah.
We were just getting out of the mountains. There would have been absolutely nowhere for this car to go. I was so confused. And when I look back ahead, when I look back ahead,
backwards.
Ahead.
When I looked back ahead.
I was so confused, and when I look back ahead, I see a big lit up cross on the side of the road. I can't just read it like that. It just doesn't make any sense.
Big lit up cross
I look
on the
back
side
ahead.
of the road.
Look back at. Anyway, all white lights. I started to get spooked out. I've done this drive a million of times.
A million of times.
Okay. And never saw that. This was my first time driving at night in a while since I had a weird occurrence.
No one proofreads anymore.
The previous time, too. I was speechless. I decided to Google it and realized that some people see ghost phantom cars. One person suggested searching the areas for recent accidents. That's when
actually driving around and looking.
That's when I find 2 articles. An elderly man died in that area in a singular, he was the only car, crash. Something else that's a crazy coincidence too. He was a resident in the extremely small town I live in. That was all caps.
Okay.
I am genuinely so shaken up. I wonder if he was showing me what happened moments before he passed away. Or warning me. I have no idea. But what I do know is that I am of state mind and saw a car disappear to thin air.
Poof.
I am of state mind. Am. So thanks for that. I'm not sure that everything's okay or it's going to be okay.
Won't be.
All right, last story. Creepypasta. This is from the History Press. Not from Reddit.
That's not a crazy name.
It's not from Reddit.
Oh.
Late in the evening of 12 October 1979, 26-year-old carpet fitter Roy Fulton from Dunstable was returning home from a pub darts match in a nearby Leighton Buzzard when he stopped to give a lift to a young man standing on an isolated stretch of Station Road on the outskirts of Stanbridge. Notions of ghosts and the supernatural were far from Fulton's mind as, being an avid Liverpool supporter, he was casting his thoughts ahead to the following day's match and the prospects of his favorite team.
You're really going for it.
Yeah.
You can't stop now.
In the glare of the minivan's headlights, he saw a youth standing on the near side verge, thumbing for a lift. Deciding he was going either to Tottenham or Dunstable, Fulton came to a halt in front of the hitchhiker who walked along the road towards the van. He was casually dressed in dark trousers and a jumper, and wore a white collared shirt. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. The man opened up the passenger door and got in. When asked where he wanted to go, his only response was to point ahead further down the misty road. Fulton let the Mini's clutch, and the van pulled away. The journey continued in silence for some minutes until Fulton decided to offer the youth a cigarette. It was the point what had been a completely ordinary and familiar situation suddenly crossed over a threshold into the strange and frightening world of the unknown. I leaned forward and picked up the packet of cigarettes he later recalled, turned round to offer the lad one, and that man or boy was not sitting there. Stunned, Fulton pulled the Mini to a halt and turned the interior light on to look back, thinking the youth had somehow climbed into the rear of the van. There was nothing there. Roy Fulton was completely alone.
Ooh.
Now terrified, Fulton drove in a panic to his local pub, the Glider in Lowther Road, Dunstable, Ashen-faced and shaken, he blurted out his terrifying story to the landlord. I can't do it anymore. Bill Stone and a group of regulars. Two things haunted him about his experience. That the eerie, pale-faced youth was somehow part of an earlier traffic accident, which had not been reported. And secondly, that the sad, silent figure would somehow follow him home. Fulton was later interviewed by writer and researcher Michael Goss in 1985, took part in the respected television documentary series Arthur C. Clarke's World of Strange Powers. On both occasions, he told the same story without any deviations or embellishments. That one night in October 1979, he took a ghost for a ride. Many countries as diverse and wide apart as Sweden, Pakistan, Canada, Korea, and South Africa all have their individual and specific phantom hitchhiker tales, but the experience of Bedfordshire motorist Roy Fulton ranks as one of the most compelling and thought-provoking of all. Is it, though?
Who said that?
The person who wrote. I don't know. This was fun for me, but I don't really feel like I believe in highway ghosts at this point. How about you?
Hi. My name's Alex.
I'm a skeptic.
I want to say yes, just because one of us needs to.
Yeah.
No, I like the idea. As always, I love the idea of it. I'll keep my eyes peeled when I'm driving next time. I'll really keep my eyes peeled. And maybe I'll be recording something and you never know. Maybe I'll catch something because we do have a mount for our camera in our vehicles now, and you'll see some footage of us driving.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I like the stories.
Maybe we'll see a hellhound or a hitchhiking ghost or something in the future.
Or some res dogs or a hitchhiker.
And if you have your own haunted highway stories, send it over to us at spookenos@gmail.com, SPOOKQUENOS. If you want to support this show, we're not going to ever stop asking you for money. Go to patreon.com. Ever. Patreon.com/dosespookenos or ko-fi.com/dosespookenos.
Yeah.
And with that,
stay spooky.
Peace.